Yo, 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 yo.
Yo, what up, killer?
Hey, nothing much, player, man. We are back, boy, after a long weekend, man.
A
How are
long
you feeling?
weekend, brother. Long weekend. I'm still trying to catch up on some sleep, dog.
Hey,
Shoot.
I added the long at the end just because I know you was there way long than I was. But hey, man, we are coming off of a hot, exciting weekend here at the No Gear Classic. Here, well, in Greensboro, North Carolina. But first, let's do the housekeeping. Housekeeping, of course. If you guys are looking for stage trunks, I know we are in the thick of things. This is not a read. This is off the top of the head. So if you're looking for any shorts, bodybuilding trunks, robes, socks, even flip flops, head over to Chula Wear. She also got something for the ladies. So go ahead, grab your bodysuit if you need it. Use those codes eShell10 or Carolina Muscle for that good old discount.
Man, you know the funniest thing? Well, it's funny to me. I don't care. Maybe I'm just immature. I don't know. Hey, that future song where he's like, in some Gucci flip flops.
Some Chula
Hey.
flip flops.
let me slide them chulas on and get the business.
Hey, they comfy too. They got a little padding in them and everything. Hey, but we are it was actually an action-packed weekend here. Like I said, at the No Gear Classic, man. I absolutely enjoyed my time there. We're gonna get into, of course, the environment. We're gonna get into the actual show. We're gonna talk about the winners. So if you guys were at the No Gear Classic, drop a comment below. Let us know what you thought about the show. If you agree with anything we say in this video, drop a good old flame in the comments to let us know that you was there. If you talk to us, saw us, tell us what's up in the comments. But Jamal, man, let's start it off, man. You had a role at this show, man. I swear, I couldn't turn on my Instagram without seeing Jamal on Friday. Like, I was like, yo, what is going on with him? So you interviewed people at check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, people would have got scared if I said that you were going to be on stage, because you were on stage this weekend, bro. They might have dropped out the show if I would have told them that you was going to be on stage. But you're on stage,
I
you're
like
behind
this
the
new
camera.
role that I'm in, brother. Like, I like it. And first and foremost, let me go ahead and just say, hey, if you purchase a video from me, if you have been sending me messages saying how dope the videos are and how clean the quality is, thank you. That means a lot, because just 2 years ago, I just said, hey, I'm gonna pick up a camera and try to do this. I'm not trying anymore. I'm doing it, you know?
Hey, absolutely.
So I truly appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me. But yes, brother, I was up front and direct, man, getting all the angles. It was great, man. It was great.
So coming from a perspective of, man, you were the man behind the camera. You were on stage. You was backstage getting all this stuff. I actually just saw the reel. Like, I know it's late. I just saw the reel that you dropped with, highlighting the show with the swords, backstage environment. What was something that you noticed behind the camera when you're just walking through the venue?
Man, it's different when you have the camera in your hand. Because for me, I'm thinking of what shots would I want as a competitor, you know? So I put myself on stage and I'm like, I think this would be a cool shot, because a couple times I was backstage, the way the castle is, like I was in the castle door and just seeing the bright lights from the athletes, like that was a dope ass shot. I'm not gonna lie, like that shit was just crazy. So I just try to envision myself on, like, what would the athlete want, or what would I want if I was the athlete. So that's how I'm going about, doing the videos or whatnot.
That's dope. I've seen a couple of that you sent to my clients, and I was like, oh, okay, like these are fire. Like, but then there was also something you did, and people loved it. Like, even from the Let's Talk About It page, you were able to upload some of the overall. So what was your mindset behind doing that? And I mean, ultimately, people loved seeing the stuff, maybe outside of the live stream, or maybe just being able to comment, give their opinion on Instagram. So what was your thought process behind that?
And you can speak to this. The most common thing we hear is, well, on live stream, it looked like this. On live stream, it like this person should have won. Yeah. So I felt like I was up close and personal enough to be able to get that good shot of everybody on stage. And I was like, I didn't have no thought in it at first. I'm just like, let me just record men's physique overall. Because I know, like, we talked about it, everybody was, hyping it up or whatever. So I was like, just let me record that. So I recorded that, and then I threw it up on the page, and we immediately got feedback. Like people was commenting, people like, "Yo, we need more of this. We need more of this." So I was like, "Okay, well, I'm just trying to do it with every division or whatnot." So that was something I think different for me, and I think was actually dope because now you can give your own opinion if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, your opinion doesn't matter because you wasn't one of the 7 judges on that panel. But
yeah. And the thing I loved about it, and like I said, I never like to say we're in comparison or we're doing anything, but if something works for one thing, why wouldn't it work for you, right? So I seen that like a lot of IFBB shows, like the Pittsburgh Pro, everybody was like looking out for that show. Some people couldn't attend, some people couldn't buy the live stream. But first thing you know, Gilco posts the comparison, or this person posts a comparison, or this person posts a comparison. And I think it's like the event is so hyped up. I think overall it was just the growth of like people like, hey, what is this show? Like, let me see what this No Gear Classic is about. You don't know. That might have led to people buying the live stream and going to watch the rest of the show. So I thought it was a great idea. Like, I think it was dope just to see how well people received that. And like I said, even for people who may have watched the live stream, they probably went and watched that just to kind of get like a second look at it. So I definitely like that because, sometimes I think the OCB does a great job at posting the live stream right after, right? Or right after the show, but some people just don't want to, zoom through just to watch that. Some people want to just get straight to that. So I thought that was super dope. A dope addition that you did, especially with the page, along with the interviews that you did.
As long as I'm not stepping on nobody's toes or whatnot, I would like to continue to do it, but I guess it's going to be, show by show because, like you said, live stream is at some of these shows. So I don't want to step on nobody's toes by, pushing that kind of content out there that quick. So
no, absolutely. So we saw plenty of competitors. I think the number that they posted was like 130. And like I said, it was funny. I had the conversation with Terry, or I asked Terry and I asked Jessica. I was like, hey, is this the most y'all ever had? Like, just wondering, like, is this the most? They're like, no, not even close. I was like, oh, well, I mean, doing 130 at a mid-year show, I would like to say this is a mid-year show, is an amazing feat. So shout out to all the competitors that showed up. Whether, a lot of people I know they compete for themselves, that they're competing to get on stage. But I don't think they also realize the bigger mission of, elevating the legacy or continuing the legacy that Will Powell, Terry, and Jessica built for this show to keep continuing. So major kudos to all the athletes that showed up to this show. I would say, I think my shield is over here. So I was a lucky participant in that show one time or two, the sword is back there. So just continuing that legacy of competing at this show. But let's get into the environment. I'll speak on this, like, because I was in the crowd, I was backstage, and I can honestly say, dude, like, there weren't any bad vibes in the building. Like, from what I've seen, like, from the competitors that I knew, I think my first walkthrough, I tried to talk to as many people, dap up with everybody that I knew. Even the competitors backstage, they're pumping up in close vicinities. Like, you really didn't see anything they used to call us the caddy division, but I didn't see any of that this show. I think everybody kind of was just on one accord. And then the atmosphere of the whole venue in that Coliseum or in the theater, as whichever we want to call it, was like, it was very loud at times. And like, I think when the pros were on, like, all the seats were full. Then the amateurs came in, all the seats were full. It was like standing room. So I was like, yo, this is dope.
Yeah, man, the energy was great. The vibe was great. And just going back, the whole caddy division and whatnot, I interviewed probably half of the men's physique guys, and it was just good vibes, man. Not one person said anything bad about it. So they're just like, hey, I'm just here to battle. I heard, some of the best are going to be here, and I just want to step on stage with them. So kudos to you guys, because I know other divisions are not like that. Like, nah, man, get away from me. Like, nah. But yeah, kudos to you guys, man. It was good vibes all around. The energy was great in the building, like you said. So, sure.
You know how they be like, you're not going to beat the allegations? I don't think you're going to beat the allegations, brother. you interview every men's physique guy. I ain't seen not one classic.
Nah, I did. So, see, you got to go back to the page because I did interview a classic guy. And to be perfectly clear, all the classic guys was cool as hell. They all, hey man, what's up? So
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You know, if I say that enough, people start believing it. But I think people already believe
about that. Hey, everybody already think I'm the villain anyway, so relax.
So, but let's move into let's start. Let's talk about some of the winners. Of course, we did a little bit of research because we wanted to come correct. We're gonna start doing better with our research department to get on this. But let's first talk about bodybuilding. We're gonna definitely shout out the top three. Although it was a very competitive class up there for bodybuilding, the three people who came out on top, it just so happens to be the Triple M. We got Mecca, we got Michael, and then we got Marcus. So, and I just want to speak on all three of those real quick. I think we saw the check-in from Mecca on Thursday. It was like, okay, he's coming. This is the best we've seen him. And I always tell people, like, we always look at the roster when we can get a roster, and we say, who do we think going to win? I think it's just natural for us to try to have a prediction. I never said he was the definitive winner, but I was just like, hey, if Mecca comes on, he's going to be in the running. Top three finisher at the Yorton before, placed at plenty of shows and won multiple shows. Michael, I'm not very familiar with Michael, but I could say one thing: he came in shredded. He looked phenomenal on stage. So he has an amazing physique. He's one of those guys that I guess whenever you see him at these bigger shows, he's going to be competing. He's going to be in that competition circle here and there all throughout the year. And Marcus, this one, like I said, I know Marcus personally. He's here from North Carolina. Dude I have seen the elevation of Marcus, and for him to place top three at this show, he came to the posing clinic. He looked absolutely phenomenal, even at the posing clinic. So I can't wait to see what all three of these guys continue to do towards the end of the year as well.
Yeah, top three was solid. Like you said, I seen Mecca backstage pumping up, and I told Mecca, I was like, this is the best I've seen you. And I think me and you've been around the game long enough, and we built a good enough rapport for to talk about some of these athletes. Mm-hmm. If Mecca comes in condition the way he's supposed to come in condition, I think he's a hard guy to beat. He just has that good shape for a bodybuilder. And I think the thing that, he struggled on in the past was his conditioning. So I don't know what him and Mikey did to get ready for No Gear, but they definitely brung it. So I would love to see what he does, the rest of the season. Because like I said, in any stage he steps on, he's most definitely a top three bodybuilder for sure.
Yeah, and he's bubbly. He's super bubbly. So let's move to Classic. I'll let you go with those guys. I know you've seen a lot of stuff up close in person. So what do you see from the Classic division?
Man, Classic, that's near and dear to my heart. Shout out to Jamal Mentor for taking home first place. He actually did Magna Muscle in Charleston a few weeks ago. And I told him, like, yo, dude, you just need to come in more conditioned. And I think he accomplished that, this past weekend at No Gear. I know he's been chasing that first place, that win, that first pro win for a while now, and he finally got it. So shout out to him, man. Harvey, it was Harvey's pro debut, and he got second. So imagine getting your pro card like a month ago, even if it was that. I don't think it was that long ago. So within a couple of weeks and stepping onto a stage like No Gear, and you get second as your pro debut. So shout out to him. And you set me up with this one because I thought we were only doing the winners, number one winners.
It's Sean Dash. Sean Dash.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys because you totally set me up with this.
Nah, but Sean, I'm familiar with Sean. Sean's been competing for a while. I was actually there when he won his pro card. He won his pro card in bodybuilding, but then he actually switched back to Classic, or switched down, not down, but switched to Classic. He has a very great physique. He's bubbly as well. And I think he's local here as well. I think we used to train at the same gym, but Sean has a great physique as well. So rounding off the top three, it can't be no better feeling for that. Moving to men's physique, I got the top three. So the top three here, like I said, this was the most talked about division, I guess, for the reason of people knew the names, people anticipated. And this was, I think, the only class that the winner came back. So it built that excitement. It built that storyline of like, hey, will he, retain his title, or will he, will somebody come in and take it? So it's one of those things where they always say we had this question before, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really care for a storyline, but it actually built the excitement for the division to be what it was on this day. But rounding off the top three, we have Rashid Lane. He's out of the Dr. Frankenstein camp. They came. He was a newcomer. I think he told me he started bodybuilding in February, and I'm like, all right, you're going to do some things in this sport, so we're moving forward. He was a super bubbly guy. He just had a lot of muscle density that carried on that was packed onto his physique. Matthew Cole, so shout out to the Rare Breed camp as well. Matthew Cole, like I said, his nickname should be Mr. Sub 3% because he's always peeled. Like, I don't know. We got to figure out a nickname for him. Like, he's always peeled. I don't think he misses the mark when it comes to conditioning. And rounding off the top three was your reigning champ or your last year's champ, Fred, who brought an amazing physique as well to this stage. He brought that stage presence. He brought a good flow. But shout out to all the men's physique competitors. I even said it leading up into this. I didn't want to spoil it for anybody, but there was like 4 or 5 different champions in the lineup. There was a lot of top 3 finishers at this lineup. There was even more. A lot of top 3, and then even, of course, not to be remiss, but there was also a top 6 finisher in Roy Best that was in the A class that came out. So it was a very heavy show.
I'm glad I was not a judge judging that. And I know after shows when we don't get the placement that we want or that we think we deserve, we tend to hang our head low, right? Mm-hmm. But none of the men's physique guys should hang their head low. That was an all-star lineup, and of course, everyone can't come in top 3. So I think that's just going to add fuel to people's fire going forward and propelling them, through these other shows for the rest of the year. So I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah, and I think we can take a short break and say, like, pro tip for that is, like, for me, I think a pro tip after a show is always, go to the drawing board first, right? Before you shut it down, before you get upset, like, look at self and say, hey, was there anything that I could have did to improve my placing here, right?
Right.
Now we're not just talking about where the judges placed you or where you earned your placing, but it's like, hey, could I have improved my posing? Hey, could I have came in tighter? Have I brought a better look before than this? What can I do to improve? And I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys that I've seen in this lineup, they're competitors. So we're going to see them again. I don't know when, but we're going to see them again.
Right.
So then we had a super big amateur show. I made it halfway through it, but we're going to shout out the winners. We don't have top 3 here, but we do have our top 5 here. We are going to shout out the winners though. So shout out to Dennis. He's part of the Team Nonstop camp. He won men's physique amateur. Shout out to Stephanie, who won figure amateur. Shout out to Peyton, who won the wellness category. I wasn't there for the women's show, so I would like to definitely give you guys more. But I'm pretty sure we'll have some highlights and some videos, or we'll see some highlights and videos. So y'all look out for them. Shout out to Sheena, who is the Bikini Masters winner. Olivia, who's the regular bikini winner. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Andrew, who's the amateur classic winner. Hey, classic. We're gonna come back and talk about classic because classic was different. Shout out to Leonard, who was the bodybuilding open winner, and then shout out to Dan, who was the men's physique masters winner. So shout out to all the winners from this past weekend. But we're gonna rewind back to that 25 deep classic amateur lineup, man. What did you think from a pro classic guy? What was your thoughts about that lineup, man?
Bro, my pro classic lenses wasn't even on. I was just a fan, to be honest. I was just a fan, like, seriously. I think top 5, there was at least 5 to 10 guys. They could probably go anywhere to any of these shows and get their pro card. This just happened to be a stacked lineup for this show. All of them guys looked incredible. The conditioning on these amateurs is mind blowing. I'm not trying to be funny, but some of them got better conditioning than some of the pros I've seen this year step on stage. Yeah. So that's just mind blowing to me. But yeah, man. I hope these guys, I hope they do go try a pro show. Look at Harvey. Like I said, Harvey just got his pro card a couple weeks ago, and he dove right into no gear and got second. So I think Classic is wide open this year, man, for some of these pro shows. So I hope they go after it.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I noticed about Classic. Like, of course, I had an athlete in Classic amateur, and I was just like, man, like, I think leading up into the show, I saw a couple people posting like that. I was like, I remember names. We got Tim Guard, I think is one of the names.
Yeah,
I saw
man.
Henny
Moses crazy. Yeah.
Henny Undeniable. I think that was Benny or Henny, one of them, one of the two. But hey, I became fans because, like, even for my guy, and I mean, this is just, like I said, I kind of speak about my coaching methods and things of that nature. But I said, I actually loved that I saw people condition. And the reason for that is I was just like, hey, if all these people come in condition, then that means it's going to be conditioning shape battle, right? Who has the best shape? Because all these guys are in shape. Like, so now it makes it more fun. It's like, because I know sometimes to the criteria, everybody's not supposed to be shredded. Everybody's not supposed to come over conditioned. Mm-hmm. So when you see people all coming in with that crisp conditioning, it's like, hey, this is the standard. Everybody's like this. So now the best body has to win, right? So that's the one thing that I enjoy. Like, I got excited. I was like, hey, bro, we're good now. We're going. We're going. So, yeah, man, shout out to the Classic guys who I felt like, I'm not going to say carried, but they definitely came in and made a statement, made a name, because I'm pretty sure we're definitely going to see probably, if not all 24 that didn't win, a lot of those guys are going to move on and do another show.
Nah, for sure. And 2 years ago, when you took off, I don't know if this happened to you, but when you go to these shows, did people ask like, yo, do you miss being on stage? Do you miss it? Did you get asked that question?
I think people just thought I was lying because on our podcast, you kept telling people I was competing. So people always just assume like I'll walk in and they'll kind of look at me like this, and then they'll be like, "Nah, he competing soon." But then I probably got asked maybe at the most 5 times, but people thought I was going to still compete.
Yeah, it's funny because people still don't think I'm retired, but clearly I'm not stepping on the stage. I'm done. But I got that couple of question times over the weekend, like, do you miss it? And honestly, I don't. Like, I just love being able to watch what people do now. Like, I don't miss stepping on stage. So
yeah, I think that's where I was the year I took off. It's almost like you just look at everything objectively from that point. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have an opinion. Like, well, I do have an opinion, but it's just like I'm not up there. I don't need to say anything and just keep it moving. Oh. Of course, and like I said, now that I have the coaching hat on, I have the most anxiety when I coach now, but I actually find that this part is way more fun. Like, it's way more fun. Like, you don't have to go a couple nights without taking a shower. Like,
right.
Like, hey, I love traveling with my athletes. You know why? Because I'm the only one who can use the shower. Like, I don't got to wait. I can take a 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute shower. Hey, they got 10 on. But it's just one of those things where, man, I'm not going to say I don't miss competing. I think there's certain parts of competing that I like. I like the competitive aspect, right? I like getting on stage and competing, having something like showing my hard work at the end of the day. But then also it's like when on this side, it's a little bit more chill, but it's almost like having someone else have a moment, you know, and being there with that moment. And that's more so what I enjoy than just me having that moment. So, but yeah, man. So we got 2 more books and rules or things on the docket. So I actually do have a surprise question. I know you're gonna hate me for this because I didn't tell you about this. But the stuff that's coming up next, let's talk about what's coming up next. We definitely got Daytona this coming up weekend. So if you guys aren't aware, the Daytona Checkered Flag is a new Masters Pro show. Promoted by Yenny. We had her on a couple years ago. I think it should still be on YouTube.
She's well over 100 athletes.
Well over 100. Nice.
Well
okay.
100, yeah.
So, like, this isn't to be messy. This is just like a straightforward question. Do you think people just weren't ready earlier in the year? Because, you know, we saw a lot of shows that were sub 50 in every organization, not just one organization, but every organization. But now we're going to, well, I'm going to 2 shows back to back that has over 100. That's kind of crazy.
Maybe they didn't want to come out early. I'm not going to say that they wasn't ready. Maybe this is the show that they had marked on their calendar. So, okay, I'm going to do this. I mean, because, you know, people look at the calendar well in advance and go ahead and try to pick what shows they're doing. So maybe this is just the one where people's like, okay, it's Masters, Men's Physique Pro, so I'm going to go out here for this.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, like, this is always the peak time. We always talk about this is when bodybuilding get exciting for us, especially in natural organizations, because, of course, IFBB, they have a lot of pro shows way before this, but there's a lot of pro shows before this. But I think this is that mid-year point when everybody's ramping up for the championship seasons. So a lot of people are coming out like, hey, let me knock the rust off. Let me get in there, you know, get my bumps and bruises or get a quick win, gain some momentum, and then go to these championship shows. So I think this is good momentum because I ain't gonna lie, at the beginning of the year, I was just like, man, a lot of people is just not competing right now. But now
it was slow and quiet, man. It's kind of boring, to be honest with you. It's like, oh, okay, well, here we go.
But it's heating up now. It is heating up now. I think it's definitely heating up. So we have Daytona, and then of course the week after that you have the USBF Florida Pro, which will be the last year.
Like literally 45 minutes to an hour away from each other.
Hey, the whole week.
Right.
But I think, and then the week after you got, like I said, the Florida Pro, which will be the last one, promoted by Daryl DeVore. So 2 great shows that's going to be in the Florida. So I know from the past years that I competed, Florida stays hot, meaning there are athletes in Florida. So we're going to see what those 2 shows do, and then of course we'll come back and recap that. But were you able to? I was backstage, but I saw that Terry and Jessica received an award. Were you out in the front, and can you talk about that?
Yeah, we're gonna post that. We're gonna post
that. All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So it was a pillar strength award. As you know, I don't even have to go into detail. As you know, Will is no longer with us, and Miss Terry been holding down the show her and Jessica been holding down the show the last 2 years. So I thought that was a nice gesture to, you know, show Miss Terry some appreciation for what she does, man. Because I don't know, like, imagine if No Gear was no longer in North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just went away. I think that would hurt a lot of people's feelings. So, you know, I think it was a nice gesture just to show her that appreciation on you know, what she's able to do, you know, staying strong. Because I know it sucks, man. Like, every year, knowing, you know, you and your husband done this show together and he's no longer here. So, hey, big ups to her for staying strong and you know, keeping her strong head during this time. So,
yeah, for sure. Because like I said, I think we both mentioned we done that show, and this show's like we said it last week, and I don't think we can say it loud enough. Like, it was a legacy show before, you know, Will passed away. It was always a legacy show. It was a big show. People always showed up to it. So definitely just want to keep giving the major kudos here. Like I said, as long as I have athletes, or I ain't gonna say as long as I can compete, because I'm just saying as long as I have athletes, will be always a show that I would try to bring people to. But the last question is nothing too crazy. I met a lot of good people this weekend. So I just want to see, was there one interaction or any interactions that stood out to you that you were just like, man, like,
there's one interaction where I was like, yeah, I don't care for you. Nah, go ahead.
Nah, but I had an interaction this weekend. His name is Alex. I actually seen him do the Queen City, and
Alex Meadows.
I think so. Yes.
Men's Physique guy, little short guy. That's my guy, man.
Hey, that's my guy too. Like, he walked up to me and he was just like, man, you look familiar, and I was just like, you look familiar too. And then we just started chopping it up a little bit, but man, when I tell you, like, his energy, his I hate the new age word, his aura when he's on stage, just looks like he's enjoying himself, having a good time. Like, that was a really good experience for me, just to, like I said, it's not about the show. Most of the time it's not about placements, it's about the people you meet within the sport. And that was a very genuine interaction that I had over this past weekend.
Nah, me too. I actually talked to him, and even just to dig a little bit deeper, man, just his faith in God is like really big, man. So that's something that, you know, I heard him talking about at check-ins and everything else. And like you said, even on stage, man, he was in his own little bubble and he was just having fun. So I love that for him. I love to see it. I would say another person that really brought some energy was Lofton. He used to compete in classic. He wanted to try men's physique for this show. So I had a chance to interview him, and he took over the interview. He was just answering his own questions. I didn't get a chance to ask him questions. He was just going on and on. And even like, you know, the love he showed me, he never seen me in person before, but you know, he was like, man, I love your physique. You're great, this and that and the third. And just to be able to go to some of these shows, man, and like, bro, we don't act better than nobody else. We treat the amateurs just like we treat the pros, and I think that's what it's all about. And like I will say that over and over again. Like, we don't go to these shows and hold our head up high like we're better than anybody else. So just to get that positive and energy back from like some of these amateurs, that's a great feeling, dude.
Nah, for sure. And of course, you know, I am a coach. So at the end of the day, I'm the unbiased. So shout out to my team, y'all. Y'all showed up. Like, y'all showed up. So shout out to David, shout out to Logan, shout out to Rick, shout out to Arnold, and shout out to Najee. Just knowing that all the behind the scenes stuff that everybody had and what got us to the stage. Najee, of course, he told you he came out here for all the way from Vegas. I think he was more amazed about the trees than anything else. He was like, bro, y'all got so many trees out here. Like, what's going on?
About Najee, I met Najee last year. Najee gonna get his picture in with me no matter what.
He gonna get his picture. But man, he battled it out in an overall.
Yeah.
In a tough overall, and
his confidence was through the roof too. You could just tell he was confident as hell.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the thing with and kind of like caveat off of just shouting out my team, but that's a pro tip, y'all. Like, I know we try to drop gems here and there, but the pro tip is like, dude, like, I joked on Jamal when he was just like he hit the wham thing, but I was just like, bro, like, confidence is confidence on stage. It shows, like, when you are confident in what you're doing. Like, shout out to Lofton. I saw him posing and things of that nature. He was confident.
Yeah.
There were so many people in this show that just exuded confidence on stage. And that's something that people don't take into account. Like, if you don't look like you know what you're doing, I always tell people, like, off stage, I'm not the most outspoken. I know on this podcast we speak a lot, but I'm not the whole outspoken rah-rah guy. But on stage, you're going to notice me. Like, you have to, because this is what we're here for. And that's one thing.
I said, you have to.
You have to. You got to, because I'm going to make you notice me. But I think that's the one thing that I try to tell my clients at all times. I'm just like, whether you're doing something confidently right or confidently wrong, just do it with confidence. Because at the end of the day, it shows. So especially, like, that's the one thing that you said with Najee. He didn't lack confidence. He came out there. He posed to the best of his ability. He showed his physique. And even with Logan, you know about Logan. Logan did the hair flip on stage.
He's the most unserious person I know.
Hey, the funny thing is, he ain't gonna care. We had a conversation backstage. He was like, what are we serious about? We up here flexing in our draws. And I said, fair. Like people over here mugging, and he was just like, dude, we're in our draws. Like, we can't be mad. Like, what are we doing? And I was like, fair. Like,
yeah,
nothing to be mad about.
You got a point.
So he was like, I'm gonna go up here smile. And that's the same thing about him. Like, whether people say it or not, they're gonna remember him.
Yeah.
So
he was on stage swinging his little hair. I said, boy, Logan is a fool, man.
But like I said, if y'all didn't catch the show, I'm pretty sure it is up on live stream. You can always check out the overall battles, but comment below. Let us know what you thought about the No Gear. Let us know if you're going to compete next year. You got a long way to think about it, but you should commit this year if you're going to compete next year. You got anything else for us, boss?
Nah, man. I think that's it, man. Overall, great show. Like we said, we appreciate Jessica and Terry for continuing to put on that show. Y'all deserve all the credit. So, yeah.
All right, y'all. With that, you already know y'all will see us next week. We'll probably be doing a Daytona recap. Try to get you guys some stuff there in person. But until next week, y'all. Peace.
Peace.